Hello, my sisters and brothers. Oh, just getting caught up in all the things that I love to do. I'm working on an 8-week course, an amazing course, and I can't wait to share it with all of you guys. I've already got the free webinar up for it, but I've been really diving into the brain and how it works this week with my own internal studies. And I've been studying the brain for a long time, but every time you go back, it's like you learn something new and you see it in a fresh way. And what I'm seeing in our overall world with all of the chaos, all of the continuing anger and elevation really relates a lot to how our brain scientifically functions. And I am not the most scientific gal, but I do have a scientific part of my body and in my mind. I mean, I went to an engineering university, for goodness sake. So the mind and the spirit honestly work in harmony and they mirror each other. It's really fascinating when you can start to understand the world from a very large perspective, how the science of everything really does relate to the spirit of everything, because they aren't really, you can't take them apart. They aren't separate. They look like they're separate, but they really aren't. It's like two sides of the same coin. And so today I want to share with you a couple of things. I'm going to try and share my screen today. Let's see if this works. Oh, no, that's just not going to work. Anyways, so what we can do is share with you 3 ways that if you feel like your mind is being hijacked by life circumstances, I mean, who hasn't felt that? I mean, like when you're watching the news, when you get a text message and you're just so relaxed and you're just chilling out, and you get a text message and it just riles you up. When you are, I don't know, scrolling, mindlessly scrolling, you see something and it just fires you up, pisses you off, whatever, or just really saddens you and it makes your heart feel heavy. There's so many ways that we can react to the world emotionally, and it's like, you were fine a moment ago, and now all of a sudden, flip, everything's changed. So I want to just really check in with you guys about how you're feeling. Let me know if this is something that you're dealing with. I mean, what the scientific terms of it is the amygdala hijack, or that's what it's come to commonly be known as. So we have the 3 brains. We've got the reptilian brain, which is just taking in our senses, and really it doesn't do any analysis. It just takes it in and it reacts if necessary. Like if you put your hand on a hot stove, it's going to pull it off. Okay, so you have like these automatic reactions. They're not at the level of the brain. A lot of that is at the level of the brain stem or even the spinal cord. Next is our mammalian brain, or the limbic system, and that's what adds emotions to it. And the emotions help us relate to what our senses are telling us. So if you have a hot cup of coffee in your hands, you might feel warm and fuzzy and more open and relatable, versus if you had, I don't know, like an iced coffee in your hands. Ice cold tends to make us feel more contracted and more willing to go in, and the warm just sort of opens us up. So it's like emotional responses to things. And these can be positive, negative, or neutral. Like they're just influencing what we are receiving through our senses. And then there is the human, or the logical brain, and this is all the neocortex. So the human brain is where we store memories, where we have decision-making capabilities, creativity, all of the higher levels of thinking that is related to humans lives in our cortex, okay? Cerebral cortex. This is where the frontal lobe, the prefrontal cortex, is really important. It gives us the ability to pause and then to take the senses and the emotions and then to come up with the best decision. And what happens is that a lot of times that ability for all of the information to come all the way to the front of the brain, it gets hijacked by the amygdala. Have you guys heard about this amygdala? Well, the amygdala, hey Karen, I'm so glad you're here today. The amygdala is the part of the brain, it's right in the center in the limbic system in the mammalian brain, and it overreacts most of the time for all of us in a way that it hijacks the natural system of decision making, and it cuts us off from our logic and our reasoning abilities, and it makes you have an impulsive decision. And usually when you have an amygdala response, you start to feel certain physiological things. Your heart begins to race, like when you see a post that just pisses you off, or you have a conversation with a family member and it just throws you over the edge. Your heart begins to race. Your hands get a little warm and sweaty. You start talking faster and louder, and you start to feel like you have to make your presence known. And generally speaking, when we are in this emotional response time where we are reacting instead of responding, we don't make the best decisions. Yeah, can you guys feel that? Can you really relate to having this automatic, like robotic reaction that you don't feel like you were really in control of? Okay, we've all been there, we've all done that. My girls are doing it right now in the background. So we've all been there where we feel attacked, we hate the situation, whatever it is, we are not feeling like we're in control of our emotions. Our emotions are in control of us. Right? Emotions are vital to making healthy decisions, but when we get hijacked by our amygdala, it cuts us off from our wisdom. And so when we are in this place, I want to give you 3 really good skills to be able to help you recognize when you are in that place and then what to do about it, because you are not going to make a decision that is healthy for you or others when you are in this stressful situation and you aren't thinking clearly. So to clear the mind and to regain your composure, number 1, just pause and breathe. Okay, it sounds so stupid simple, but it is. It's amazing when you just take a moment to recognize, holy crap, I'm on fire right now. What just happened? And you say, okay, I'm on fire right now. I'm just going to pause and breathe. Give yourself 5 to 10 seconds. It really doesn't take that much time. If you're in an encounter with somebody, it's okay. Take the time that you need. Even if they look at you funny, they're probably going to see that you're taking time, and maybe they react irritably at first, but deep down, what they're receiving is that you feel valuable enough to take time to clear your head and think logically and respond consciously instead of automatically. And that is a good sign for anyone to receive. Okay, so whether or not they're responding to you or reacting to you, positively or negatively, it's okay. This is your responsibility. Just pause and breathe. And see if you can allow your emotions to quell just enough. You say, all right, woo, hello, I feel you, anger. You don't have to say that stuff out loud. But you start to see and acknowledge, really feel into what is going on in your mind and in your heart. And that's step number 2 is you breathe, you create a little pause, a little bit of space, a little stillness for everything to settle. Okay, so when you get riled up, when your buttons get pushed, when you're feeling really triggered by something, it's like somebody has taken you, the snow globe of you, and they've gone like this. And a snow globe that's just been shaken up, it's hard to see exactly what's in there. You get a relatively good idea about what's going on inside, and you can see that there's a little snowman, and that there's a tree behind him, and there's whatever. You can see that there's buildings inside there, but you can't see all the detail because there's so much floating in the water. When you pause and you breathe, you set down that snow globe, and it helps things to settle so that we can find a little bit more clarity. And you start to breathe, and you start to just say, all right, I feel these things inside of me going on. I recognize that they're there. I hear you. You're just triggered by something that's happened to me in the past, but this is not a past situation. This is a present moment situation. So I'm going to come right back here to the moment. And I'm going to see, is there anything I need to know right here in this moment? Okay, so just let yourself learn and process the emotions that are going on in your head and in your heart and in your body. Processing your emotions by seeing them, acknowledging, and learning from them is an enormous gift. And whether or not you have the time to do it in the moment, like you can always breathe in the moment. You can breathe at any time, okay? You're always breathing. So take that as an opportunity at any given moment. But if you don't quite have the capacity or the space to be able to process some of this stuff, you can do a minuscule amount just by saying, oh, hello, anger. This is, and it's with love, with self-love and appreciation. I feel you. You're trying to tell me something. I hear you. And I have to be here right now. I have to be with this meeting. I have to be with my spouse. I have to be with my kids right now, but I'm going to come back to you. You can process your mind and your emotions at any given time, whether it's in the moment or when you recognize that you got triggered 2 days later. You're like, whoa, 2 days ago that happened and I'm still holding on to it. Let's sit and be with this for a minute and process what's in there. Process what's in there because you're worthy of that. Yeah? And then lastly, I'm going to ask you to take a moment to disconnect from all the things that you feel connected to, like media, social media, online shopping, all the things that we've been kind of relying on a little extra these days because of our social distancing, because of quarantine. I mean, at any given moment, you can do this. It's always great to do this, but right now I think we're relying on it more because we can't be so connected to our family and our friends. So we look at Facebook, we're looking at Instagram, and we're mindlessly scrolling. And there's positives to everything in the world, and there's negatives to everything in the world. So with social media, with being available all the time, some of the benefits are being able to connect to our families that we can't connect to right now, being able to see what people are up to. But the problem comes in when we start to do it mindlessly and it's just a distraction. So my recommendation is if you can't disconnect fully, that's okay. Look at your social media use and see if it is uplifting you. Like watching this video is probably uplifting you and helping you feel like you've got some tools to move forward. Or is it helping you to feel worse about yourself, feel self-conscious, feel irritable, feel angry? How is your social media use affecting you? Okay? And if it's not uplifting you, then it's time to pause. And I think that it would be great for you to just try and set a timer. Set a timer for 20 minutes, and at the end of 20 minutes, if you don't feel great about it, then go ahead and turn it off. You know, if you've been scrolling mindlessly and you're like, whoa, somehow when we get on social media, we can say, oh, I'm only going to do it for 10 minutes or 20 minutes, but then an hour later, you're like, what just happened to all that time? And you're no better for it. So become conscious of your social media use. Become conscious of how much media you're consuming. Are you binge watching too much Netflix? Are you on Twitter way too much? Are you reading way too many articles that are just pissing you off? Is your news consumption supporting you in your highest good, or has it started to energize your amygdala and all those emotional responses and overwhelm you, put you into a mode of anxiety and feeling like you're out of control? That's never good. So with those three things, I think that you can really make a difference. Try it over the weekend, especially if, one more thing with the social media. I really recommend turning your phone off or setting it to do not disturb at night. I do it from 9 p.m. until, 9. I was wondering if it was 8. 9 p.m. until 7 a.m. That's my time that I don't want to be disturbed. I'm not going to look at my phone during that whole time. I plug it in, I put it on the kitchen counter, and I don't look at it. And I really recommend that you do the same thing. Don't go to bed looking at your phone. Don't wake up and have your phone be the first thing that you do, because this is just messing with our brains and it's creating either a stress response or a pleasure response, and both are like the same side of a nasty coin. Okay, they're really hijacking our emotional capacity to be in control of ourselves and our emotions. And you, out of everyone in this planet, I know you want to feel connected to you and to your emotions and use them as learning capacity and to fuel your fire to be better in this world, not to feel like your emotions are ruling you. Okay? Emotions are so vital, but we can't live by our emotions. They are there as messengers, not as our only guidance system. Okay? All right, I hope this helps. I hope you have a fantastic, fantastic weekend. And I want to invite you, if you're interested in this kind of work, my free webinar is up and running. It's amazing. And if you are like, frick, I love this lady and I want to work with her because she's got the answers and the solutions that I know can help me, I would love to chat with you and see if that feeling, that gut feeling, is right. And I will put into our comments both the link to the webinar so you can kind of get another feel for the work, as well as a link to just schedule a call with me, do a heart-to-heart, and see if this work is right for you. It is amazing, empowering, motivating work that helps women specifically. That's who I'm working with right now. Women specifically really uplift who you are, how you interact with this world, whether it be at work or at home with your family, and really embody your greatness. You are amazing. And if there's something that's just holding you back and you can't quite put your finger on it, I'm here to help. I can't wait to be able to really tap in and really help some of you ladies out there in a really deep and profound way, helping you embody your greatness and make the real impact you're meant to make in this world. All right, my beauties, have a phenomenal weekend. I'll talk to you guys on Tuesday.